Control G. Now I can't just hit G anymore.
Hey everybody, I'm Rachel.
And I'm Zach, and welcome to Perk Bark. We're glad that you're here to leave the old week behind and start fresh with some music, conversation, and coffee.
Yeah. This week we have imagination.
Ooh.
as our theme for the day.
Our theme du jour.
Uh-huh.
Theme du the day.
So we're really, like Zach said, we're really happy that you could join us today, especially with a platform switch. As you can see, we're still working out some bugs. First day, new legs. So if you could, let us know that you're here and you can hear us. Drop a little hello in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see who's here. And you can always subscribe to our YouTube channel as well, right here at Perk Bark on YouTube.
On YouTube. Very exciting.
That's right.
So there we go.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you gave them some homework.
We did give them some homework from last time. When was the last time that you were lost in daydreams? We're going to be talking about imagination and tapping into that non-structured part of our brains as it applies to what we do as classical musicians. But if you have things in your life that also fit that bill, we would love to know about them.
Yeah. And so why is it important that performers or artists have an imagination? We've been talking about this a lot this week, and it's a part of our larger series that we're starting to explore with process. Last week, we peeked behind the curtain a little bit of what it's like to prepare a role. And with that, we're delving a little bit deeper into the process with imagination. So, what have we been discussing this week? I mean, with imagination,
You start.
I'm gonna start. Okay. When Zach proposed this idea, this theme for the week, we took it two different ways. So I took it to mean what happens when the character uses imagination, and Zach took it as when the performer uses his or her imagination, which was really cool. I like that these two things are melding together because it can definitely happen and does happen, I think, in pretty much every role that we tackle. By the
Yeah.
way, those tiny little sneezes came from a tiny little dog.
She's not sick. She just sneezes to show her displeasure.
Yes.
She scoffs, really.
That's
Here
right.
we go. Oh.
We don't have an
You're on
imaginary
YouTube
dog.
now.
This is Lily, our field correspondent,
Hi, friend.
who is in the studio today.
She is. She's
Yeah.
not traveling because of COVID.
That's
So.
that's right.
Anyway.
So
how do you make a character use his or her imagination?
well, the piece that I'm going to be performing is "I Want Magic" from A Streetcar Named Desire. Crazy. And
Those
Blanche.
from an opera.
It's from the opera.
You just said it was from a streetcar. Its name was
You know what? Marriage.
Marriage.
And Blanche Dubois is her name, is the character's name. And she looks at life through rose-colored glasses. Through champagne-colored glasses, really. She has a heavy drinking problem. And she wants life to be magic. So she imagines that it's so. She is separated from reality, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And she uses her imagination to do so. Now, I am not an alcoholic. I am not living in the 20s. And how did I put it this week? Can you make fun of me?
You're like, I don't know what it's like to be I don't know what it's like to be a woman who's an alcoholic in the 20s.
I was like...
That's how you said it to me earlier this week.
Yes.
and I got very confused for a second. She's holding out on me.
Yeah,
she keeps her stash.
I'll never tell.
Anyway.
No, but, I have to use my imagination to create her world. She's using her imagination to create her world. So the two have to mesh. And it gets tricky. In some ways it makes it easier, in some ways it makes it harder. Because if a character is using his or her imagination and the librettist tells you exactly what that looks like, then you have somewhere to jump off from, right? So it is restrictive, but it's also very freeing at the same time because it lets you in on the scenario a little bit more. So I don't know. Do you think it makes it easier or harder?
I don't know. I think if you let yourself do it, it makes it easier. If you resist or you try to have it at an arm's length and say it's a character doing this, not me doing this, the imagining part, not the drinking part, then
method acting.
Then I feel like if you give over to that part of the process, then it's a lot easier. If you really start to see what's going on, smell what's going on, hear what's going on, then it starts to make more sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about that a little bit when I do my excerpt in a little while here. Yeah.
Well, before I get to the singing part, the aria is called I Want Magic. And Blanche has just gotten in a little bit of a tiff. Not so much a fight, but a tiff with Mitch, her lover of, du jour.
Du jour, that it is. No, that's right. I said it the right way.
You said it the right way.
No.
And he says something along the lines of, you're living in a fantasy world. It's not real. And her first line is, real? Who wants real? So she knows, I think she knows that what she's putting on airs, that her reality is distorted. She knows it, but she's doubling down. She says, this is what it ought to be. This is the reality that I try to give to people. So I hope you like it. Check it out. to give to people. Do misrepresent things. I don't tell the truth. But I tell what I have been the truth. What did I be? It's magic's what I try to give to people. If that's a sin, if that is such a sin, then let me bend for it. Don't turn on that light. It'll all look so ugly in the light. Why not see by candlelight? Oh, moonlight, oh, starlight, they are bright enough to see by. Sometimes Oh, Blanche. You crazy fool.
Oh, Blanche.
Oh, Blanche.
She really is a fool.
Mhm.
Crazy. Crazy indeed.
Yeah. So we were checking the comments in between, and that is true. We are living in the 2020s, so
Yeah, we are.
still the 20s.
That's right.
Roaring or not so roaring.
And, merch, question mark.
We've been... Okay, so should I let the cat out of the bag a little bit? The imaginary cat?
Sure.
Okay, so we've been toying with the idea of doing some merch, and if and when we do that, it will be through Patreon. So we'll tell you a little bit about Patreon later, a lot about Patreon later, but as you can see, there's no little scroll at the bottom of the screen. It's because we're taking tips through that service now, through Patreon, and yeah, so if there's enough call for merch, maybe we'll have to do some.
We might have to do that.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Well, we also had a commercial break. It says, Go Bills.
Big game today.
From Physics Mom. We know who that is.
We do.
Should we talk about coffee?
Yes, we should talk about some coffee.
This is one of our favorite whimsical coffee beverages. We've brought it out a few different times. This is Dalgona coffee.
Oh yeah. Whimsy.
Yeah. So there you go. It's quite whimsical. Look at the whimsy.
Ooh, so whimsy.
So the coffee, as you longtime viewers know, is actually the foam, and then it's just sitting on top of cold milk. The foam you make with 2 tablespoons of instant coffee, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of just off boiling water.
Mm-hmm.
And then you whip it up with a hand blender. Works really, really well with a whisk attachment. But there's a ton of well, now they're old, but a ton of TikToks of people doing it by hand too. So you can really do it by hand if you wanted to.
If you want, like,
pop-up
I was just gonna say that.
So
literally the same thing.
How about that?
We
You
must
have the
be married.
same imagination. That's weird.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's good. It doesn't have to be a particularly fancy instant coffee either. I think we got ours from Aldi, or the Aldis, as the locals say. And we've had this one for quite a while because I don't know if you've noticed, but we like coffee and brewing coffee. Just a little.
Part of the show.
You know,
it's in the name.
Yeah. Is it?
Something like that. It's the perk. Perk Bark. All right.
So, it's taken us quite a while to go through our instant coffee, but
you know, we're making it happen.
We are making it happen.
So much sugar.
Sugar and caffeine.
Yeah, there you go. All right, I feel ready to do mine.
All right, we do have a little treat.
We do have a treat.
We'll bring a whimsy treat that we'll bring out in a little bit.
Yeah, that's right. After some more singing, probably.
Well, do you want to talk a little bit about how important it is for the artist and the performer to have an imagination?
So most of what we do, the most of what people who hire us see is we come into a room in a suit or a dress, and there is Bernie sitting behind the table.
It truly is Bernie in the mittens sitting behind
just
the table.
Like completely uninterested with the whole proceedings. What are you going to sing for us today? And then it's our job in a poorly lit, weird little room, oftentimes, to manufacture the whole thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanted to think about today is and let you sort of behind how I do it a little bit. And the piece that I'm going to be singing it's excerpted as an aria, but it's part of a larger duet from Pagliacci. It's Silvio's aria excerpt. And he's singing with Nedda. And Silvio is a local guy. Nedda is with the traveling commedia troupe. They've come through this town before, and her and Silvio have a fling. They have a thing going on. And he's telling her in this excerpt that he's ready. He's ready to do it. He's ready to go away with her, ready to cut ties with the troupe, saying, let's go. Oh, she's also married, but, you know...
Picanio, he's like,
it's fine. It'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It's great. And he says her name a number of times during this aria. So what I'm actually going to do first is do the aria as if it were about me, the performer, standing there in the room. And then I'm going to start it again and do it as if... well, not as if. Do it imagining Ned standing there and giving reason why I'm repeating her name and why I'm taking all these different tacks to try to get her to come around to what I think is what we should be doing. So, here we go. Silvio's excerpt. Okay, so first, we're gonna do it like it's all about me. Like if I come into an audition and I say, I'm gonna sing you something pretty. E fra quest'ansie in eterno vivrai nedda, So there we go. All about me. But then when I start to imagine somebody there, Nedda actually there, hopefully it changes. E fra quest'ansie in eterno vivrai Nedda, decidi il mio destino, netta rimani, tu il sai la festa fin, e parte ognuno domani. Partita che diverrà di me, della mia vita. Netta, rispondimi, se perché cagno non amasti mai, se è vero che in odio il ramingare il mestier che tu fai, se l'immenso amor tuo una sola notte, questa notte partiamo tutti con me. Allor perché di tu m'hai stregato, se vuoi lasciarmi senza pietà, quel bacio tuo perché me l'hai dato, fra spasmi ardenti di volontà. Tu scordasti l'ore fugaci, io non la posso e voglio ancor, fra spasmi ardenti, quei caldi baci che tanto febbre
All right. Zach went to go get... Oh, here he comes.
Go. Let's keep going.
Oh,
Okay.
right there.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Mary. So, did you notice a difference?
I did.
I did.
I hope you did.
Honestly, I think it's one of the hardest things that we do. Is trying, just having that imagination in a high pressure situation, like auditions. Auditions are far from perfect. Because there's no direction. You are trying to pick arias that you do best, that you think fit with what the panel is doing and what they want, and it's just you up there, you and the accompanist. So it's difficult to say the least, which is why knowing your text and your translation is so important. We talked about that last week. The more you know and the more it's ingrained in you, the more you can play, which is what we're striving for, is a state of play.
Is being playing.
Yeah.
So speaking of more whimsy and playfulness, here are some semi-homemade desserts. If you know about this show, you know that sometimes we feature local desserts. Well, this is very local. This came from our kitchen.
As local as you can get.
Yeah, these are little dishes of meringue.
Oh, you're
Go ahead. No,
okay.
handing it to you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show you. There's ice cream in here.
And so you have an ice cream in your little meringue dish. So you have an edible ice cream meringue treat.
Zach made, how many of these did you make?
I don't know, too many.
Like 20, 24. There are 4 left. He made them, 3 days ago? 4 days ago?
Yeah.
Oops.
Next, now that we're out of ice cream, next we're going to try them with some peanut butter and jelly in there.
Yeah, We're like college kids, essentially.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
But these took a lot longer than a lot of college kids, I think, would care to take.
Our girl. Uh-oh. Our field correspondent is also our cleanup crew. So.
There she goes.
She's right down there.
All right. Now that our mouths are both full.
That's right.
What are we talking about next?
Patreon?
Patreon.
You want to talk about Patreon?
Sure. If you like the show, please subscribe. Please tell others about it. And if you really, really like the show, come and join us on Patreon. We would love to have your patronage there. It helps us keep the show going. It's a low-budget show, as you can see, but it is not free. So we would love for you to do that. It helps us to fund bigger projects like our upcoming opera production that we are going to be doing, as well as keeps us up to snuff with voice lessons and being able to travel, hopefully soon, to go do auditions and take gigs and things like that. So if you feel so moved, please go to patreon.com/perkbark and
fancy.
There it is.
Hey-o.
To join us, there's a few different levels. You, as a Patreon subscriber, you also get access to our weekly themes earlier than everybody else. And soon, the next 2 weeks, I'm setting it at 2 weeks, all of the singing that we've done so far on the show will be up so that you can peruse just the singing videos there on Patreon.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There we go. Hello. So lots of fun stuff coming up. Thank you all for, number one, supporting the show. Just by watching, you're supporting us. We love to see the number tick up so that we can see that, you're here with us. We're trying to create a community that makes us feel close, even though it's far away. And because we're all missing each other now, especially, with everything. Well, shoot, I was going to say something else, and
what were you going to say?
I completely forget. Thank you for sharing our page. Thank you for moving with us. I think we started with we were in Chicago with a tiny little speaker in front and, just using one camera. And clearly we've evolved, and that's all thanks to you. And now we're on YouTube now. Hey,
we're on YouTube now.
Crazy.
Whoa.
So thank you for, making that switch with us. Keep on sharing. Keep on watching and tuning in.
I keep taking bites, expecting it to be different each time. No, it's always just going to fall apart. Anyway, thank you.
And, well, is there anything else?
I don't think so.
All right, well, we're going to go finish our treats.
And then we're going to go watch some football.
Woo! And so we will see you next week.
All right.
Bye, y'all.